Hey babe, I know some people might be up, some people still might be sleeping, but I decided to come to you today with a video. And this one is a little different. It might resonate with some of you. Have you ever had a person or some people in your life that you just didn't vibe with? Well, today we're going to discuss 3 people in my life that I have no communication or no relationship with. And those 3 people are my cousins. Now, before I go any further, I just want to say that this video is in no way to emanate or spread any negative vibes in any way. It is just to share some of my life experiences and feelings. Also, names have been changed for anonymity. Okay? With that being said, let's get started. So, I have a cousin, an older cousin. I just want to say all of these cousins are probably about 8 to 10 years older than me, but they are about maybe 1 to 2 years apart in age themselves, maybe at most 4. Okay, so I have older cousin, we'll call him Baron. And Baron is very accomplished. He's a very accomplished professional. And he has every reason to be proud of himself because he's accomplished a lot in his professional life. And despite us having no relationship anymore, I am very proud of Baron. Okay? And he and I used to be very close at one time. We used to talk all the time. We used to share each other's company, and we used to hang out. We used to have a fabulous time with each other. Okay, Baron was a good kiki, on the weekend, and even though he's in fit shape, he had a good appetite. He was good for a good meal. But like all of us, we all have different sides, and I guess his not so good sides, I never thought that I would be on the receiving end of those, and unfortunately I was a beneficiary of his selfishness. I became a beneficiary of his condescending behavior, his condescending tone, and I became a direct beneficiary of his just dismissive treatment of others. So that was the awakening moment where I realized to him I was disposable. And while it pinched my feelings, it hurt, I had to realize and recognize he's not my sibling. I had 2 siblings, 2 male siblings, 2 brothers, who preceded me in death, who have now passed away. And while I was never trying to replace those relationships, but only cultivate a relationship as a cousin with Baron that ultimately became no more. So that's where that ended. And then I have a cousin, and we'll call her Kennedy. Kennedy also is what I would like to think a established and accomplished in her own right. She has a beautiful family, and I would like to think that she is content in her life. There was a time many years ago where I would say we had a very amicable cousin relationship. Kennedy was a part of a milestone in my life that was very special, and she was a part of it. And I thought that that milestone would have brought us closer because it was something that we now shared in common. And she could be somewhat of a role model. She could be somewhat of a guide in her own way as a cousin, someone to talk to, even if her lifestyle didn't align with my lifestyle. You don't have to agree with everything someone does to be supportive. But nevertheless, two contrasting words. Nevertheless, it didn't end that way. And it just seemed to me that there was this hierarchy, and I didn't make the cut. I didn't fit because I was a little bit more relaxed, let's say, with my lifestyle. And not that I am any way, an embarrassment. I guess I'm not as refined. I'm not a prude. In my opinion, I'm not a prude. I enjoy myself. I like to have fun. Maybe on occasion I may have a cocktail. Maybe on occasion I may use a little bit more profanity than they. But nevertheless, I am still an accomplished professional in my own right. And I just feel like our differences should be appreciated just as much as our likenesses, so to speak, if that's fair. I think that's fair. So with Kennedy, I believe that the disconnect was, bit of entitlement, where there was a tinge of, I'm better than you. And if I'm wrong, I apologize and please forgive me. But that's my experience, and that's how I felt, because I made effort to reach out and have a relationship, but there was no reciprocity. And I'm trying to be nice here, but this is my video, this is my experience. The bitch just seemed really stuck up. That's not what I remember of her, but that's what she became. She became a Stepford stuck up bitch. And that's just not how I get down. That's not how I roll. So we were never going to make it. I remember she planned a luncheon one time and then she canceled. It never got rescheduled. Good, c'est la vie, that's life. Then I remember there was a time where we have an aunt who came to visit, and she stayed with me. Our aunt and uncle came and stayed with me. On that Sunday, I planned a family dinner, and my aunt, without my knowledge, invited Kennedy. So we'll call this Aunt Teeny because she's the size of a Smurf. So Aunt Teeny invited Kennedy, and I'm like, Aunt Teeny, you didn't tell me this. And she's like, oh, I didn't think it was, any big deal. Now, side note, that's a whole nother story when the old folk just feel like they can invite people to your house. And I got a whole nother story about her. That's another time in another place. But I digress. And I was like, no, ma'am. We're going to have to do some damage control now. So I contacted Kennedy and I was like, hey, friend. So Aunt Teeny told me that she invited you to mi casa, see? And she affirmed. And so I said, well, here is the dealio with that invitation. It didn't come from me, so I'm rescinding it. And the reason why is because you have family engagements all the time, i.e. Thanksgiving, and I never get an invite. That's one. Two, I don't think you've ever been to my house. You've never been to my house. And so I don't think this would be the time or the place to make that appearance. And so she reluctantly agreed. And thought that would have been, and it was end of it. There was a little bit of spillage over with her mother. I don't know why. It's none of her business. Nonetheless, I did invite, let's double back, I did invite Barron, who at the time I did still have a relationship with, and he didn't come, but in hindsight, thinking now, I'm probably thinking it's because Kennedy contacted him and told him what had happened. That's okay. This is so far long ago, but I just felt like it was okay to share these feelings now that they've been resolved within myself. And then lastly, there is my beloved cousin. We shall call her Gigi. Gigi and I have never really had, I would say, a relationship, so to speak. I guess I got beef with Gigi for different reasons. I have beef with Gigi because for the beginning part of Gigi's life, my mother was her surrogate. And I know I'm looking off, but I'm thinking. But my mother was Gigi's surrogate. So you would think that after all these years, and when I say the beginning of her life, the formative years from 3 months to first grade. And you have memories of that time. And I know life has changed. But when you needed nurture, my mother was there and gave of herself when life could have been really different for you. You never call. I never hear from you. So, yeah, I'm really disappointed because it's just a matter of respect. You don't have to have a relationship with me, but I would think after you get a certain age and people have been a pinnacle in your life, that every now and then you say, just decide to pick up the phone and say, hey, check on you, see how you were doing, let you know I was thinking about you. I know we don't talk much, but I thought we'd catch up, But I know that in this life, we have to make decisions on who we choose to share our lives with. And that is very important because life is change. And with that, we have to protect our peace. And so with that decision, it's okay to say you don't like someone because you don't choose your genetic design. You don't choose who your parents are going to be, and therefore you don't choose who your relatives are going to be. Who your family is going to be, it's while it's defined, it's still a mystery. So that's my video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If there's anything in this little blurb that I shared today that you can share with someone else, please do so. Hit the like button, share if you care, and most importantly, subscribe. Until next time, keep smiling and be good to each other. Bye.